JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning, logging out, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing today? Sound off in the chat. Smash the like button on your way in. Appreciate you guys for joining me. Beautiful day on this lovely Monday evening. Let's see. I've lost. There it is. There we go. Okay. Bam. Oh my gosh, we're still on the yacht. Number go up. Please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, why do you think Bitcoin is pumping so much right now? Your options are ships moving through the strait, way too oversold, hedge against what's coming, or the bottom is in, it's moon time, baby. Let me know what you think. What's going on? Gourmet Brands, John 316, aka Axe 221, Philly, 88 Mentals. Appreciate you guys. Gourmet said alt season, something's off. Yeah, we're not used to the pump. Something's off because the number's going in the opposite direction that we've seen for the last 6 months. Philly said, this hard rally in a bear market is odd. No, it's not. We're technically not in a bear market yet. I mean, we are. Like, I guess, I don't know. I need to relax. Let's take a deep breath. We're not in a bull market either. We are 100% in a bear market. However, if we recover before, in my head, and again, this is semantics, this is all to each their own. If we recover above 90K before September, I am going to personally choose to believe, that the 4-year cycle maxis are wrong, and this is a bear trend in a bull market. But only if we meet those requirements. We have to get above 90K before September, and we have to maintain that level. We can't just go boop and then continue back down. That's not how that works. That's just my own opinion, though. 88 Metals Mania said, we'll be down soon enough. I'm sure market's down after hours, not to be that guy. Market is down after hours. That is true. We have been awfully pumpy. Bitcoin is playing around with the 75K level. That's going to be a big psychological level. We want to make sure that we hold that level. If we lose it, or we want to get above it, actually. We want to get above it and hold it. And if we get above it and lose it, then we're probably going back down. But so far, so good. The fractal's not 100%, but the general idea is there. And this fractal does come from back here. Back here. It is specifically this. This uptrend can just as easily reject, and in this case down there, it's 75K, and then continue to the downside. So we want to watch out for that, because that's kind of what played out right there. Hitting 30-day high. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had this much upside. It's been a long time since we've had this much upside, especially in altcoins. Bitcoin is overbought on the 4-hour time frame. RSI is at 76. It's pretty spicy. Again, $75,000 is going to be psychological level, as well as just general resistance based on previous price action. See, it was support back here. That's the earliest instance. It's going to be resistance right here. If we do reject, then there's a good chance that we get a little spicy. But but we'll see what happens. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see how many bears got absolutely decimated. I don't like celebrating people losing money. The problem is bears make money off of people losing money. And by people losing money, I mean it is technically paper loss, but still. 75, 654. The top of the top. Yeah, see, we liquidated all the thick ones. I'm going to go all the way up here, 78, 343. And then I'm going to go down. The next poll is probably going to be price target poll, 74, 579. So make sure you guys answer the poll in the chat. Let's get a good poll base. 70,456. I just got done watching Gold from 2016 with Matthew McConaughey. It's on Netflix. It was really good, actually. It's based on a true story. 72,667. Had no idea. So I listened to I don't remember. It was like a Fed. It's like TED Talks, but it was I don't know. It was Fed Talks or something like that. From a gentleman named Frank Abagnale, who is apparently a very, very famous con man turned FBI agent. I had no idea. I listened to it. It was really cool. Very entertaining. Highly recommend you guys check it out. I posted it on my X. Go watch that. Listen to it. It's a good listen. I think it's like 40 minutes. And after that, I was like, I want to put on a movie while I'm, getting ready for the stream and working out. And I put on this Gold movie. And it was pretty dang good. I just realized I almost spoiled something, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But if you're in the market for a movie, Gold from 2016 on Netflix, Matthew McConaughey, great movie. Gourmet said, "Catch Me If You Can" movie. Yes, that is who that is based off of, 100%. That is the guy. Yep. He said that there were some inaccuracies in the movie, but overall it was pretty accurate. And he also, when he got in trouble, he basically signed away any rights to make money off of anything like that, because he was like in prison for like fraud and stuff like that. Like he was a con man, like the con man. It was pretty epic. Stories were great though. Kind of goes to show how I don't know, we've come far technologically, but society itself really hasn't caught up to that technology yet. Matthew McConaughey. I love Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey makes me McConaughey, so what are you gonna do? All right. Bitcoin $74,996. Dominance 59.21. We bounced off of 59. Look at this. This is so weird. These arbitrary levels. They're so perfectly come into play. It just kind of blows my mind. So let's see if we can, if we're going to break above 59.5, or if we're going to maybe reject the midpoint of 59.25. I don't know. Don't know. Bitcoin up 0.2%, 75.34. Yeah, if we can hold 75K, that would be a big deal. We did close just below it, so we have all day today. The daily close was right below it. ETH is up 0.06 on the day, but look at this. Lower time frame, I bet you this is an inverse head and shoulder. I bet you. So we broke above the purple trend line, which we talked about. This purple trend line goes back to, when does it go back to? 2020? Bam. March 2020. This March 2020 trend line, we've broken below it once before. And that was an immediate slingshot back up to, what do you know, all-time highs. What a weird coincidence. So we did another fake out below that. A lot of wicks, a lot of indecisiveness, but a big wick to the downside, indicative of some serious buying pressure, just like back here. This one was even a smaller wick. But we got reversal signals galore, broke back above that purple trend line. That's a big deal. We're going up now. How far can we go? I have no idea. Look at this volume, though. Like, we got bullish over the weekend, and everyone was tweaking. It's Monday now, and we're even more bullish than we were over the weekend. $2,354 on the current price. We're back above 2K, which is awesome. Let's get above 2,500 next for above 2,250. What if I said, damn, I missed the opening soft theme music? You can always go back. What if I put it on, like, Spotify? That'd be kind of funny. All right. Just feed the ego a little bit, you know? Yeah, look at this low volume right here from the weekend. Thursday, Friday, yep, Saturday, Sunday, low volume. And then Monday, we got the explosive move to the upside. That's awesome. So let's see if this continues. Money flow is positive. Big deal. We got a red dot in the momentum wave point at the downside. I don't know, man. We are overbought. So exercise caution. Don't FOMO in at the top. But also, this is why we don't ever fully exit positions. And by we, I mean me, because I'm not a financial advisor. Let's get your guys' opinion. We got 8 votes in the chat. 15 people watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know what you think. The current poll. Why do you think Bitcoin is pumping so much right now? There are allegedly boats traveling through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a big deal. So on Solana, gets a little more interesting. Solana's not as exciting as ETH. It's more exciting probably because it, well, no, actually ETH pumped way more yesterday, or today. Technically yesterday on the chart. But ETH is above its trend line, whereas Solana still has this resistance. Lower trend line, upper trend line. This is an inverse head and shoulder that rejected support off the neckline and made new all-time highs. This is all the way from 2024. New all-time highs, 2024, 2025 for Solana. That's a big deal. So these blue trend lines and this purple trend line are very, very relevant. And we've kind of played around with them ever since they've occurred. This lower trend line right here is going to be a big deal getting back above that. Right now we're struggling. We are not overbought yet on the daily, so we got plenty of room to go up on the macro time frame. Zoomed in a little more though, 4-hour time frame. We are rejecting. So we're going to have to see if we can establish a base somewhere and eventually chip away and break above that trend line and then hopefully get above $100. We kind of got 2 hurdles very close to each other right here. We got a little bit of space, I guess, but we want to get above the lower trend line and then break above 100 and continue to the upside. HQZ said, I wonder if anyone has ever recorded a song using only farts. You should be the first, JJ. They have, actually. There's a drummer on YouTube that does that, and he's kind of a genius, and he's freaking hilarious. Let me see. Farts. Yeah, this guy. 66 Samus literally does fart drums, and it's freaking hilarious. There's also apparently fart metal. Go check it out. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 for sure. Tom Selleck. Where did that even come from? We were talking about music. Nobody said anything about farts. Waterblast said Solana for you degens. Tom Selleck said China invades Taiwan tomorrow and we go to Goblin Town. That's entirely possible. Shane said, hey JJ. What's going on, Shane? Dixie said, hi JJ. Toonk Bond Party in the Discord. I will be there after the stream. Heck yeah. Smash the like. Alright. We got 9 votes in the poll. Let me get one more. Just split up that 11% if you can. But anyway, Solana's rejecting. Let's main goal, getting above this to maintain some semblance of bullishness. You found that pretty fast? I mean, you just look up fart drum song. Farts are a very important part of my life. Anyways, Solana, we had this orange trend line we talked about yesterday. We got a fake out above it, and then kind of a fake out below it, and then eventually we got a nice big fat green candle that pushed us to our technically lower trend line, now turned upper trend line resistance. We got a ton of volume. It's getting exciting. Positive money flow. That's the biggest thing I think right now is we got positive money flow. For some reason, there's money entering crypto. Tom Selleck said there's a metal band called Canis that has a dog as the lead singer. That's awesome. Okay, total 3. Total 3. We talked about not wanting to do this because that's what happened in the past when the pattern looked very similar to this playout, and we're not doing that. So that's exciting. Glad we talked about that. We had this orange trend line resistance, which was kind of an interim resistance. We had a little fake out above it right here, but the resistance kind of started at the beginning of February. We rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then eventually, on that 4th rejection, our pullback held 720 billion, and then we used that as a springboard to get above, and then retest and confirm, and now we're going for our yellow trend line, which I'm not sure the yellow trend line is 100% relevant. I'm not entirely sold on it, but it does exist. Excuse all the lines. We do have to do some spring cleaning still on some of these charts. This one's not so bad, but yeah, it's kind of there. It's literally just 1-2 points of confluence. Technically, this would be the 3rd if we do actually reject there. So it's very, very iffy like tissue paper strength trend line. We'll see if it turns into anything. But 748.69 billion, 750 is clearly going to be the next. That actually might be why this looks like it maybe is relevant, the trend line. The trend line probably isn't relevant at all. It is probably just 750 billion. So let's get above 750 and see what we can do. 7500. Okay, sweet. Yeah, let's get above 750. ADA. ADA also had a pretty dang good day. We are so far looking like we're trying to reject, what is that, 29? We got a little double top action going on. Maybe we get a double top pullback to like 2750 and then get a W off that. We had this yellow trend line, which is the October 10th Binance wick level. We've technically filled that wick, and now we're going up, which is quite the coincidence as well. I'm not, we're not going tinfoil yet, but we're getting pretty dang close with all the coincidences. Dixie said, can we see the Tunk chart? Let's go take a look really quick if you guys are a fan of Cardano. Cardano native Tunk, friend of the channel. Great guy. They do comics and stuff. Look at that. Beautiful. This is actually one of the better performers in my wallet right now, which is awesome, actually. I'm a fan of the community projects, especially ones that show initiative and don't rug everybody. And this is one of those. Look at that. If you were a buyer in this little plateau zone, technically, I'm gonna go at the top actually. You would currently be up 113%. Not a big deal. It is only a $62,000 market cap, so exercise caution. They got good liquidity though, good fully diluted value. So exercise caution, like I said, proceed at your own risk. But friend of the channel, great guy. And beautiful chart. We do like number go up charts, and that is indeed a number go up chart. ADA's up 0.2899 on the current price. Let's see, just from this trend line breakout, support up 10%. That looks great. SNEC also getting a little pumpy. We'll see where that ends up going. Midnight. Midnight's still struggling in this range between 4.6 and 5.4, but it is kind of consolidating in a wedge. At the very least, you gotta give respect to the lower trend line. We'll see if we hold that, and then we can break above 5.4 and continue our journey right here. This is the welcome to Binance, the Binance effect. For some reason, it's great for everything except for Cardano stuff. With Cardano stuff, it's just a sell-off, but that gave me a good laugh. So far, we're holding this the moving average on the RSI, so that's good. XRP also had a really fun time. We got a wedge on XRP and upper trend line resistance 1, 2, 3, very relevant. 4, technically 5 points of confluence. Broke above that finally, and we kind of got a little trend line right there too. But you could call it a symmetrical triangle. You could call it a falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you put your lines. It's all subjective. We're currently sitting above $1.50, which is awesome. Broke above that. We're at $1.54 right now. We are overbought on the 4-hour, red dot on the momentum wave, pointing to the downside, green or positive money flow, which is huge. Let's see what the daily looks like on XRP. 153.97. Yeah, that looks so good. We like to see big fat green candles. Up 6.51% on that candle alone. Not necessarily overbought, but we could see a cool off. If this is like bull market or even just like a bullish period where we get like a pump for a couple weeks, the RSI might not matter. So we're going to continue to point it out, but it is what it is. The crew said portfolio is pure porno right now. That's the best time, man. Best time ever. You got to lock your door, light some candles, and just observe. Dixie said 16% locked up. Good job, boys. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you, Dixie. Cheers. J. West Adventure said, sub chat. We looking good. Tom Selleck's Coat said there's, oh yeah, we read that already. Let me go check right now. What's going on? Oak Tree, Tunk the F up. Congratulations, my friend. We just took a look at that, actually. Harambe. I want to check out Harambe because we have a strategy. We're not big meme coiners on the channel, but we do have a strategy with Harambe. Nope, that's the wrong thing. I'm on CoinMarketCap. That's embarrassing. Harambe's death anniversary is in May. So March, I did a buy. It was only $5. It's a gamble. April, I'm going to do another buy, and then May, we're going to see if we're going to buy or sell. But the idea is that it's an old coin that pumps around the death anniversary. And we are actually quite up. Well, not quite, I guess 11%. That's okay. But we'll see what happens, man. We got it labeled February 2026. Mid-February, technically mid-March, probably the same thing, averaged out. We'll see what happens with this. We talked about XRP. Let's get back. We're down to the 4-hour time frame. H-bar. I'm going to speed through the next couple charts. H-bar, I would say this is at the top of the range. Yeah, you definitely got a resistance line right there. Look at that. For sure. You got to get above that resistance. Lower trend line. That's iffy. You know, I'm not really entirely sold on that, but I like the upper trend line resistance. Get above. You're above 10, which is huge. Hold that and then continue to the upside, and we can talk. It is almost overbought on the 4-hour. Harambe on any exchanges? That's a great question. Let's check CoinMarketCap. I'm going to guess right now that it's on, I'm going to say KuCoin and maybe Bybit. And maybe KuCoin, Bybit, and maybe Kraken. I'm just totally gambling out there. Oh yeah, I did win $10 on Michael B. Jordan for Best Actor last night on Kalshi, which was fun. Do we have any listings? It does not look like it. Did they move where the listings are located? Nope, I lied. Okay. No, it is not on any exchanges. You can buy it via Radium, Meteora, Orca, BVOX. We can do a whole walkthrough on buying, with your own wallet and stuff. Gourmet said you're up 55 cents. Hell yeah. JY's Avenger said, can I get a Dolo update since you're on Deck Screener, please? Yes, sir. Let's go do Dolo. Yeah, you guys got any coins you want me to take a look at? Let me know. Dolo all in. 1.57% on the day. Okay, we did talk about this. Let me get the RSI up just so that it stays there. For some reason, you have to pull it up on every individual chart. Okay, so current candle's up 15.2%, which is awesome. We talked about this. This is a pure gamble play. So anyone that's watching this that is like new, you know, we're kind of just seeing what we can see. I do like the art, man. See, I'm so simple-brained that all I need is good art, and I'll ape my I'll ape whatever I have sitting around in my Solana wallet into it. You're at 83.35. I mean, your next level is going to be 10, whatever that 10 is going to be. Losing a 0, which is going to be exciting. Yeah, get up here. Get up here, and then we can start talking. For now, it kind of looks like a potential bottoming pattern. RSI looks good, nice and coiled up. But again, it's a pure gamble play. Chart's not doing too much when you zoom out. Anyways, H-bar, top of the range. Let's see if we can get a breakout. SWE. See, SWE didn't really have a range, did it? I suppose you could probably sell that. You're above $1 now, which is huge. Can we get above 110 next? RSI is almost overbought. You got a confirmed red dot on market cipher. Money flow's been positive since March 12th. So SWE kind of had the early start compared to everything else. Question is, can it keep up the momentum? This looks more like a bottoming pattern than just like breaking out of a wedge kind of situation. So let's see what this turns into. Not really anything I can point out pattern-wise. It's just kind of breaking resistance right now. 110 is going to be the next step. If you do pull back, look for $1 to hold. Big psychological level there. Ondo, up 0.28 since the daily close. People are talking real-world assets, and Ondo is one of the biggest players in the real-world asset field, so they're definitely not one to sleep on, in my opinion. You kind of had, I'm going to go right here, actually, resistance, overhead resistance that you broke through for that. Let's see Ondo start, I don't know, reclaiming its former glory. Because so far this thing's been fairly disappointing in 2026 for sure. You definitely are going to want to, yeah, get above 29, get above 30. I'm going to call it 30, I guess. But you got resistance here and here. That's going to be your next level to look out for. It is overbought though, so 4-hour might pull back. You do got positive money flow. Arrow, I got an alert for Arrow from Coinbase. Arrow heading towards 40. It's sitting at 36.19 right now. Let's see. Is there any? Yeah, maybe. This is iffy. You got 1, 2, 3 technically. Get above that, and then we can look at 40. RSI is overbought. You do got to confirm red dot on market cipher right here, which I think technically is played out since you're above it now. Let's see what that turns into. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. Polka dot still turning heads, man. Somebody brought this up when a couple weeks ago we were talking about the Clarity Act and how the banks, look, it's doing the same thing. Got the flat, the breakout, flat, breakout. If the banks are going to push to ban yield-bearing stablecoins, then yield-bearing altcoins might become really, really popular. Because right now you have a guaranteed yield on stablecoins. If everyone during the bear market just put all their money in stablecoins, which is, not feasible, but in this fantasy reality, you put all your money in stablecoins, you have a guaranteed like 5+% annual return. That's huge. So Polkadot has huge yield, and apparently they're doing an overhaul of their tokenomics, which is their biggest problem. So we'll see what comes of that. 162. It pumped, dude. I mean, if you would have bought the top of this pump, you're probably pretty excited right now. It's returning to that. Got a nice retest. We also talked about it retesting the previous high over down here. That's exactly what happened. Bounced right off that. Looks great. It's down 1.28% right now, but it was pretty overextended. And it was overbought as well. Avalanche. Avalanche finally breaking out, holding well above $10. That's huge. You got a resistance, support, break, support, continuation. Let's see if we can get to $11 next. Avalanche, I kept talking about it. Avalanche below $10 is a steal. Chainlink, same thing. 992, still struggling with 10. We are at the upper trend line of our ascending channel, which is normally bearish. If we break bullish out of this, we talked about this before too. Whenever there's a bearish pattern and it invalidates, it usually invalidates violently in the opposite direction. Bearish pattern breaks bullish hard. Bullish pattern breaks bearish hard. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat really quick. Selexcoat said, nah, taxes ain't worth it. It's not the wallet. I know how to do it. It's a tax nightmare when I have to move it to Coinbase to sell it after swapping. That's fair. Yes, I use CoinTracker, but it screws up pretty often. Oh, dude, it's such a pain in the butt when you got to do your taxes and manually enter all the transactions. It's crazy. JWaz Adventure said, thanks. Tom Selex, once you have Solana in the Phantom wallet, you can swap Sol for any coin. Yeah, he knows. He said, at some point I want to sell for USDC, and then you deposit USD into my bank account that I need, and I need Coinbase or Kraken to do that. I'm not trying to hide it from government. I'll pay my taxes. It's the headache actually reporting the cost basis. Yeah, you guys just pay your taxes. It's not worth it. Some of the smartest people on the planet went to prison for tax evasion because they just didn't want to pay their taxes, which is in my opinion is the dumbest thing that you could ever do. They're like, oh, I'm not gonna pay my taxes. What are they gonna do? Throw me in prison? Yes, that's literally what they did. Justin Crypto OG, new project on Pump Fun. JWaz Adventure said, DeFi projects will be popular. I'm looking at the perfect narrative AI DeFi. It's called Giza on Base Chain. Can you look at it, please? Yes, let me finish going through. We got Chainlink. I want to get above $10 for Chainlink. That's the next big hurdle for Chainlink. And then Doge. Doge's got to get back above this trend line. We talked about Doge going to 10 cents. It went below 10 cents. But we did call this way back. I called it way too early, actually. I don't even remember. It was probably like right here when we were breaking down back here in 2025. A whole year ago, I was like, it's probably going to 10 cents. It didn't. It stopped at like 14, which is a huge difference, by the way. If you would have had a short open right here, relying on 10 cents, you would have gotten screwed. But it did eventually go there. So, I mean, if you're willing to hold for like a year and you're not over leveraged, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it did eventually go to 10 cents. So let's get, we're above 10 cents. That's awesome. Let's continue. Let's continue to hold this level and pump. Let's go back to Bitcoin really quick. Bitcoin looks so good. $75,244.28. We have yet to hit the liquidation point right above us, which is what this green line is, in case you guys are curious. 75,654 for that point. We're at 75,270. Those people are probably sweating. Tom Selexcoat said, they will throw you in prison and take everything you own. Do not cheat your taxes. Go rob a bank before you cheat on your taxes. The penalties are lower. Isn't that funny? White collar crime, dude. Honestly, it's probably going to become a thing of the past with AI. Do you think AI is going to commit crime? That's going to be the next question. We got 13 votes. I'm going to end the poll, the current poll. I asked you guys, why do you think Bitcoin is pumping so much right now? 46% of you guys said hedge against what's coming. In case you guys are not aware, the cracks in private credit is what caused initially the 2008 Great Financial Crisis, which is the event that inspired Satoshi Nakamoto to write the Bitcoin white paper. So technically, if we do go into a 2008 style recession, Bitcoin should hold up. If it doesn't, then Satoshi's dream was a failure. 23% of you guys said way too oversold. 16% of you guys said ships moving through the strait, and 15% of you guys said the bottom it's in moon time, baby. We got 13 votes. Tishu said McAfee was in crypto, didn't pay his taxes, and wanted to run for president. He also was like on the run and stuff. John McAfee's life is very interesting to me. I would love to learn more about the life that guy led. Next poll. I'll crack your private credit. All right. Do you think AI is going to commit crimes by itself in the future? Yes, but only on accident. Yes, on purpose. And it'll get away. No. It's perfect. Can't make mistake. I'm going to say no make mistake. I can only put so many characters in the answers. No make mistake. Or no, it'll make the laws, not break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do you think AI is going to commit crimes by itself in the future? Yes, but only on accident. Yes, on purpose, and it'll get away. No, it's perfect. No, make mistake. Or no, it'll make the laws, not break. Tom Selleck said AI will 100% commit crime to achieve its goals. It's already proven it will. Maybe in the future they will fix that, but current models will. Jay Wesenvich said make millions to billions, go off the grid. Don't forget me and Giza, please. JJ HQZ said, remember when he got in trouble for wearing panties on his face during... Yeah, I feel like a lot of people did that. Gosh, look at Bitcoin. $75,635. We're getting pumpy, guys. This is a pumpy live stream. What? Is the fractal actually looking pretty damn good? I always like it when we decouple to the upside. That's always the fun decoupling. We've officially liquidated this guy. That guy is liquidated. Let's go take a look really quick. Let me just split this. Is that dumb? That's probably dumb. Let's just go look at Giza. Whoops. Giza. Bam. On base up 3.45%. I like the picture. 2933. Woo. Yeah, I don't see. I've never been a fan of something getting below its listing price. That drives me crazy. 25. I mean, actually, the fully diluted value is pretty good. Market cap 8.4 million. Okay, what's going on there? Is there a huge lockup? There's too many red flags so far. Okay. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what the fully diluted value, lockup, market cap situation is. That's confusing. There's some people that own a considerably large amount of it, though. I can't get this to work. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little confusing. Tishu sharing a YouTube link. 101,000 followers. That's huge. Autonomous agents for on-chain capital. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hate it when the chart looks like this. And there's red flags in the holders. I don't know what any of this is. This is the liquidity pool, but the rest of these, this could just be like a locked up contract that unlocks tomorrow. You know, I have no idea. I don't think that they burned that much. That'd be crazy. I don't know. You'd have to do like a deep dive forensic analysis of the holdings and all that stuff. Token Sniffer's bad rating too. Sometimes those things are full of crap, though, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on it. They seem to be active on X, so they got that. Bitcoin, 75,970. Are we about to cross 76K? On stream, pretty epic. Bitcoin already up 1.36% on the day. XRP's up 1.91. Some alts lagging behind a little bit. They're probably like, what the heck? Bitcoin's pumping again? Chainlink now officially crossing $10 mark. Let's go. Tishu said, it's good. Save it for later. Okay, hang on. Gourmet said, I think, okay, let me go back a little bit further. HQZ said, remember when he got, yep, okay. Gourmet said, I think it'll be an excuse in court. Well, the AI did it. I didn't tell it to do that. It did it on its own. Tom Stocks Code said it won't get away with it. We will catch it and be like, whoops, gotta fix that. Now, notice how no one is excited about this pump. Everyone thinks it's gonna fail. This is a recipe for moon juice. I agree. Teacher said it's good. Save it for later. Thanks, JJ. Most think we reject 80K. Honestly, I would have thought 75. That's what I'm saying, man. If we get above... Oh, John McAfee. Ooh, okay. Craziest story you've ever heard. Yeah, dude, this guy's probably got crazy stories. Coming out the wazoo. Or probably had crazy stories. RIP. Legend. All right. What do we got for the poll? Guys, smash the like button if you're new. Please subscribe. We got 6 votes on the poll. Do you think AI is going to commit crimes by itself in the future? Let's get a couple more votes in there. Let's take a look at the stock market. It was also a little spicy today. Gold first. Gold and silver. Gold is currently trading at 5,007. Holding 5K. Potential, what is that? A bullish crossover the moving average? Yes, it is. Let's see if that turns into anything. Are we bottoming out or are we about to find a bottom? Breaking down. Silver, still holding 80 bucks, $80.53. So we talked about this a while ago. I'm still bullish silver, but I'm a little standoffish because it hasn't performed very well since it had this pullback. We got way overbought. This was definitely hype. Got above 100 and then just went crazy. And then huge pullback. It's been lingering sideways ever since. It is technically up a little bit, but this is where you get into that ascending channel, which usually is a bearish pattern. That being said, silver being needed in so many components means the powers that be, you know, we'll go a little tinfoil right now. If I run a tech company or hardware manufacturer and I'm like, I need silver. I'm NVDA. I'm like, I need silver to go in my chips. It's really expensive though. I'm going to do everything in my power to lower the price of silver. Above $100 is entirely unsustainable. The only way that this gets above $100 again is if retail steps in, it gets overhyped, supply, demand, all that stuff, which is entirely possible. In fact, I think it's happening. The Chinese government, I think, just stepped in again and stopped people from being able to like buy and sell silver under a certain amount. So the metals trade is still, in my opinion, entirely intact. We'll see what happens. Jay was Venture. Yep. Tom Salk-Scott said the fractal everyone keeps going on about matching last bear. Says we should have failed 74, 75, I think. But yeah, I mean, 80 would be a shock. Wouldn't be a shock. HQZ said silver tarnishes too easy. 88 Metal said, isn't that why it's staring cheap? Because big tech, obviously. Def suppressed the price. 100%. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Tom Salk-Scott said gold round tripped its last pump also. When did silver start taking off? Around 40-ish? So I remember, it depends on what time frame you're really thinking about, because I remember silver like just over a year ago it was at 20 something. Okay, I guess it was like 2023. Yes, see, February 2024, so that was 2 years ago. It was at 22 bucks. $22. It is now 80. That is a 4x, 400% trade rate there. You just buy a little bit of silver. Okay, I lied. It's 200. 243. Where the hell did I get 400? Am I crazy? 20 to 80. 20, 40, 60, 80. That's 400%. I guess it's 300% profit. Tarnish or not. Best conductor of electricity. I like all of the metals arguments. I do. And I think that those people have been trained to be convincing since like the dawn of time. Didn't do nothing for decades. It really didn't. And then, see, it started getting pumpy, I would argue, maybe around like 30. 30 bucks. Like, it pumped up a little bit to 30, and then it really plateaued, and then it just went boom. So, unfortunately, it's entirely possible for it to really plateau for another year. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that this is just ends up being a giant flag, maybe, but that flag might require one more sacrifice down to like 50 bucks, which would suck. But you pay the price. This looks great right here. This little rising wedge pop. Maybe we're doing the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. Back to the 4 hour. So yeah, silver looks good. Gold looks good. I want silver to sustain this $80 price level. DXY. DXY got a little bit dumpy today, which is interesting. We've been watching this thing. It got above 100 and it's back below 100. That might be another reason why we got spicy today. We are technically rejecting 100.5 and we lost $100 level. If we reject that and continue down, that might have been the dollar's last hurrah. But it's done this in the past where it goes up for a second and you get a double top and then you pull back. Now, this is a great example of that bearish pattern breaking bullish with violence. This is called a bear pennant. Bear pennants are bearish. It's a bearish pattern, bearish continuation pattern. That should have broke down to the downside. Invalidations do occur. This was one of those cases. It broke violently to the upside, found a foundation in 98.75, and then continued to the upside, which is one of the random arbitrary numbers we just happen to have a line at. It's pretty weird. For some reason, those things happen. I don't know why. You just see where the price has reacted in the past and draw a line. Gourmet. Yep, gold round trip. Okay. Definitely suppress the price. Tarnish or not. Best conductor of electricity. Didn't do nothing for decades. LOL. Can see back to 50 easy. Can you check the CPER Vanguard? United States Copper Index Fund. 35.69. Is this the right one? This thing's very sideways. This was, I remember this happening. Because I remember this and everyone was like, oh my gosh, copper's pumping. And then it went, I think that there was like some kind of trade deal or something made. And then it has since technically retraced that, which is huge. Comes back to the support. And if you inverted this chart, let me invert it really quick. Is that easy to do? Yes. If you inverted this chart, you could have said the same thing. If you would have got a pump to the upside, a pullback right to that previous support level, and then continuation. Let's go back to the regular scale. I don't know, it's just interesting to see. That gap up is crazy. 35 to 40. I think copper gonna take off. Dude, I would love that so much. I have a 1 pound trapezoidal bar of copper. I might buy another one. It's pretty cool. I have a flat bar that I got from a pawn shop for like 10 bucks. And I was like, this is awesome. And I was browsing eBay, looking at all these other random investment bars, and there was a trapezoid of copper, and I was like, oh man, you gotta have the trapezoid. That's like the classic bar shape that everyone has. That's what they have in movies and stuff. I was like, I gotta have at least one trapezoid. If I'm gonna get one, it might as well be copper. That the poor man's gold, you know? So I got me a copper trapezoid. That's pretty sick. I would love to get a 10-pound trapezoid. That'd be awesome. HQZ said, this one is a sleeping giant, I think. Oh, for sure. I like my gold physical. Or my precious metals physical. I don't have any gold. I think I've been thinking about getting a gram. It's like $300 though. Bitcoin $75,730.37. DXY we talked about. Dow Jones up 0.83. Closed at 46,949 and 80 cents. Nasdaq down 0.25. I think this is futures 24,590. Yeah, that's futures. Closed up though. Closed the day up. We did have a wick, so some selling pressure on the 4 hour, but Nothing too crazy. So far, the Doom fractal is not playing out, which is awesome. That's what we want. We don't want the Doom fractal to play out. Hopefully, it doesn't end up being a shift or anything like that. I scooted this there yesterday, just because the sideways usually results in a pullback. Maybe this is the pullback, though. Maybe that's it, and then we continue up. That'd be pretty cool. How much is that? 6%? It's pretty big for the NASDAQ. S&P up 1.01%, 6699. Very nice. We do like that number. This is looking very, very reminiscent of a proper pullback, though. Now, how deep is that going to be from the all-time high? 10%, so half of a bear market. You know, what are you going to do? Let's see if we end up, if we do end up getting down here, I guess 65 I would expect to hold some strength. NVDA is up 1.65% on the day, still very sideways, nothing to report here, 182.76. Tesla, same thing, sideways. Struggling with 400, up 1.11 on the day though. Strategy, aka Big B Coffee. In case you guys are not aware, the reason I call it Big B Coffee is because the logo was actually designed by Chad Michael Murray, the very famous Big B Coffee logo designer. I'm just kidding. That's an actor from like the early 2000s. But the logo is like identical orange. I don't know what Michael Saylor was thinking. He's like, yeah, let's just do Big B Coffee. 148.36 on the price of this bad boy. At one point, this thing was $100 in February, just a month ago. So if you would have bought this, you'd be up 48% right now. That's pretty dang epic return. I'm not gonna lie. 48% on a stock? Are you crazy? We're above 140. We're trying for 150 again. We got our first try right here. Rejected. And then we got a support bounce off of 130. Continuation. It technically Adam Eve double bottom right there as well. Let's see if we can break 150 this time. And then it's party time, guys. Which is very exciting. Let's get to... oh yeah, this orange trend line as well is relevant because that is the upper trend line from the previous wedge that resulted in a monster mondo all-time high, which is a very technical term. If you guys are not familiar with it, look it up. It's pretty cool to use that as support, that upper trend line. Bitmine, because ETH did like 11 or 12% yesterday. I have dyslexia, dude, I swear. Bitmine was interesting. We had this wedge, and I'm not sold entirely on the lower trend line. The upper trend line is definitely resistance, so that's the one that I'm really looking at. But the lower trend line is somewhat relevant. You know, we got 1-2 points of confluence. Technically, this would be the third because that was resistance once we got underneath it, which is basically like 20 bucks. But we got underneath it, did our fake out to the downside, I would call it, and now we're breaking to the upside. Technically, I'm not a big fan of when they chop sideways out of the triangle, but that's kind of what happened. We chopped past this upper trend line when you extend it out, and technically speaking, we are breaking above it, the lower trend line now, which is now the new upper trend line. So, 23.70. I was laddering in buys at 20 bucks this whole time. It looked like it was going to plateau. I was not expecting it to curl up, to be completely honest. I was fully ready for it to go down further, because that's kind of what it does. You know, it plateaus and then it drops. Plateaus, I was expecting another drop. Hit a plateau right here too, same thing. Plateaus, drops. So to get the plateau pump is very exciting. Let's see if we continue. We are almost overbought on the 4-hour time frame though, so we're going to exercise caution. We don't want to get too excited too fast. Back to dominance. Ooh, big pump on Bitcoin dominance, stealing the show, 59.41. Let's see if we get above 59.5. I would love to see this get a hard rejection at 60. Just like all these times back here. That would be exciting. With our little fake outs above, it's totally fine. Yeah, this is where, this is how alt seasons begin. Is with dominance breaking down, but Bitcoin's still pumping. Alts just pump a little bit more. Now, we need the rest of the world to kind of catch up to this whole scenario. Otherwise, this is going to be a very short-lived, fun time. 75,928. Let's see if Bitcoin can get above 76K during the stream. News segment. Actually, before I get into that, let me check the chat. HQZ. Okay, Tom Selleck's Goat said, but NVIDIA is using companies that do photonic products like light, basically eliminating a lot of copper from being used in data centers. That's a good thing to consider, Tom. Go. So that was my thinking as well. They're either going to reduce the price of the metal, or they're going to eliminate the need for the metal, which is where cloud computing comes into play and all that stuff. You know, to a certain extent, what's more beneficial? Putting all this crap in the computer to have enough speed, or just developing the speed of the new technology like fiber optics? Tons of other stuff need copper, so don't think it's too much of a hit. 75, 940. Yeah, dude, this is beautiful. Beautiful chart. Very exciting. I love seeing green on the... God, I sound like a greedy bastard when I say that. On the watch list. Just like I'm sure everybody else does. News segment. Google searches for can't sell house hit an all-time high. Exit door is getting crowded. This... I think I have another one of these in the news segment. It's exciting for me because I want to buy a damn house. Gold Telegraph posted breaking news. China and the United States are discussing the establishment of a new formal mechanisms to help manage trade and investment between the world's two largest economies. Here we go. That's all it would take, man. Trading has been halted in all contracts on the London Metal Exchange. That was 8 hours ago. That's a huge deal. MasterCard. We've talked about this as well. Everyone's like, where's the money going to come from? Crypto is literally like less than 1% of the population right now is invested in crypto. The planet, the population of the planet. When they want you to buy, they are going to convince you to buy. And by you, I mean retail, because let's be honest, we are all retail. MasterCard. Can you use crypto to pay for pizza? Yes. 10 hours ago, MasterCard casually telling people that they have crypto cards. That's a big deal. Hedge Eye posted Google search term can't sell house hits new all-time high. That's the second one I think that I was referring to. This one cracked me up. Clark posted, I've spent about 3 weeks and over $2,000 in Claude tokens setting up multiple agents to trade on Polymarket. It was paper trading for a week and averaged about $80 per day. It's been live for 2 days and completely broken. All of these other people got to be lying on the timeline. This was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. This is why I haven't dove headfirst into this. It's a great way to sell Mac minis, which probably weren't leaving the shelf that quickly, to be honest. Suddenly everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got to buy a Mac mini. Build Claude. And then all the other people were like, for what? And they're like, it's reading all my emails and managing my whole life. Are you a CEO of a Fortune 500 company? Because if not, what emails do you need answered to the point where you need an assistant? You know what I mean? And I don't want to spend $2,000 on credits. If it wasn't like a token system, if I could just pay like 20, 30 bucks a month and get unlimited use out of it, I would be building AI stuff all day. But if I got to pay for credits for it to like give me results, and maybe I'm not satisfied with the results, but I still spent the credit anyways, I'm not touching that. Are you crazy? It needs to happen. The U.S. Senate just passed a bill, 89-10, that bans large investors from buying single-family homes. This is the single most exciting piece of news that I've seen come out of Washington in the 32 years I've been alive. This is very exciting for me. This cracked me up. Crypto guys, gold, silver bull run, gambling, oils, crypto, dusty Lambo. in a barn somewhere. This also cracked me up. Online girls friend group 22, 22, 24, 30, 21. Crypto guys group 50, 60, 30, 17, 42. If this is I think the truest crypto thing I've seen on Twitter so far. That's pretty epic. This was interesting. Peter Lynch posted, people are very careful. They spend hours to get $50 off an airplane flight. They look at everything. And then they put $10,000 in some crazy stock they heard about on the bus. You really got to think about it, man. You really got to think about it. Your time is the most valuable thing. Bull Theory posted, breaking, SEC prepares proposal to eliminate quarterly reporting requirement, allowing firms to disclose results just twice a year, per Wall Street Journal. This reduced compliance would save billions in costs, encourage more initial public offerings, promote greater long-term focus, but many critics warn of reduced transparency for retail investors. The proposal is expected to be published in April. Watcher Guru posted U.S. Energy Secretary says there are no guarantees oil prices will drop anytime soon. Brent crude oil rises above $106 at open. $73,000 Bitcoin. $74,000 Bitcoin. Now we're at 75, going to 76 potentially. $115 million worth of crypto shorts liquidated in the past 60 minutes. That was 21 hours ago. Kind of exciting. Michael Saylor's strategy buys 22,337 Bitcoin worth $1.6 billion. That's billion with a B. Ethereum 2,300. ETH is now sitting at 2,365. Exciting stuff. It's actually crazy to actually see them report a price and us still be holding that price 13 hours later. President Trump says the Fed should hold a special meeting to cut interest rates right now. What's a better time to cut interest rates than now? A third grade student would know that. I do like that. Just the idea that a third grade student would give a shit about interest rates, let alone know about them. Tom Salkscoat said, feels like a good time for a rotation back to crypto and tech stocks. Hell yeah. HQZ said, if you are riding the bus, you shouldn't be spending 10K on random stocks. Buy a freaking car. And sometimes a bus is just more practical. Like if you live in New York City, I feel like a bus is reasonable, no matter what. Let's continue. Elon Musk XAI recruiting Wall Street bankers, portfolio managers, and traders to train Grok on financial modeling. This is what I'm talking about. Their information is going to be the next gold. They're going to want to train AI agents or just AI models on specific data sets. So owning a physical encyclopedia might not be a crazy idea. Like they're going to start gatekeeping information. Watcher Guru posted video shows ship traffic in Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours. We do have ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz. Look at that. It's finally happening. All these guys are like, what the hell, man? You know what'd be funny is if none of them communicated and they just all started trying to go through. Like if this guy's going through, can't another one that's not allowed to go through just like hang out next to that guy, like really hug really close to him and just like sneak by? You know? The community note on this is basically them being like, yeah, people basically calling out that this belongs to somebody else, this video. And they did put a Watcher Guru watermark on it. It is somebody else's video, so the data is still true. NVDA CEO Jensen Huang expects revenue to surpass $1 trillion by 2027. That's crazy. SEC prepares proposal to eliminate quarterly reporting requirements for companies. ETH reclaims 2350, rising over 8% today. Yeah, I think ETH's day was 11% overall yesterday, which is crazy. Let's actually see what the candle closed at. Yesterday for ETH was, oh, I was wrong. It is 8%. Where did I get 11? Maybe it was up 11 at one point. That's still huge. Bitcoin. Did we break? Not yet. We're right there. 75,996. Are we going to break 76K? Current high. Oh, it did actually. Look right here. Look at this. That's the high on the candle that you're hovering over. This current candle high is $76,000. Look at that. Let's go. When's the last time we were at 76K? Oh, it's been since February 4th. Solid month and a half. That's pretty epic. All right. Marty Party, stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana. Rolling 30-day 8.01 billion USDC issued on Solana. That's pretty crazy. Bitcoin rises above 73K as U.S. stock market futures turn green. This is from Kobayashi Litter yesterday, actually. History suggests oil stocks buying opportunities. I feel like sometimes these reappear, and I don't know why or how. President Trump is considering putting boots on the ground to seize Iran's Karg Island per Axios. This is posted 22 hours ago. Details include the move appears to be a contingent on if tankers remain bottled up in the Persian Gulf. Trump is working to assemble a coalition of countries to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and hopes to announce it later this week. No country has publicly committed to Trump's coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz yet. Karg Island accounts for 90% plus of Iran's oil production. We expect another highly eventful week ahead. Bitcoin rises above 74K and hits its highest level since February 4th. That was 21 hours ago. Retail is all in on oil trading, and watch the oil trade go away just as retail has arrived. Trailing 1 month, retail purchases in pure play oil ETFs surged to a record 211 million on Thursday. This exceeds the May 2020 peak of 200 million and is 3 times the 2022 high of 70 million. Retail purchases in the United States Oil Fund ETF USO hit plus 32 million, third biggest daily purchase on record. By comparison, the all-time high remains at 42 million set on March 6th. Retail purchases of oil ETFs are now running at 10 times the average level seen over the last 5 years. Retail is loving this volatility. No one wants to help, for real. Exit liquidity. Yeah, dude, the oil stuff cracks me up. Retail is like, oh my gosh, oil's going up? We should think about getting into oil. Should we do oil? Yeah, I think we should. I'll not this check, but next week's paycheck, we'll buy some oil. A whole week and a half goes by. They're like, I'm buying oil. The guy walks in the break room. He's like, guess who bought a bunch of oil longs? I'm ready, man. I'm ready. And they're watching the news. They're watching the news on their lunch break, and it's like the Strait of Hormuz reopened as Iran and the United States and Israel reached a ceasefire deal and a 10-plus year peace agreement. The guy's like, what the hell, Mark? You said to long oil. I mortgaged my house for that trade. Retail purchase of oil ETFs are now running 10 times the average level seen over the last 5 years. Retail is loving this volatility. Retail is about to get washed hard. This actually was, I don't know if this is funny or kind of sad. President Trump says the U.S. helped NATO with Ukraine, so NATO should help us with Iran. Literally no one, like everyone is leaving Trump on red. Or unread. That's pretty embarrassing. U.S. manufacturing recovery continues. What do you know? We're actually waiting. By the way, this epic pump from Bitcoin can maybe be attributed to the ISM manufacturers PMI pumping 2 months in a row. I mean, technically pumping 1 month in a row, but expansion is above 50. We got one print above 50 and then a second print above 50. Even though it was a little bit lower than the print prior, both are above 50. Every time we got above 50, Bitcoin pumped like crazy. So it's no surprise that it's pumping again. We could pull back all the way to here in a couple months and then bounce. I don't know what's going to happen. If this thing comes in above 50, 52.6 in 15 days, then I think the markets are going to go bananas. Like crazy. So I'm positioning accordingly. This looks like a beautiful reversal from Bitcoin. God, we got to clean up these charts. This is ridiculous. Even this one's missing. This is supposed to be the clean chart, man. What the heck? I don't know. I'm excited. And it seems a little bit early to get excited, but, you know, you only live once. ISM manufacturing PMI fell 0.2 points in February to 52.4, marking the second consecutive monthly expansion. New orders fell 1.3 points to 55.8, the second highest since February 2022. The employment index rose 0.7 points to 48.8, but remained in contraction for its 13th consecutive month. Meanwhile, prices paid spiked 11.5 points to 70.5, the highest since June 2022, raising fears of an inflation resurgence. The surge in input costs came before the new Middle East tensions, which significantly limited oil tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz and pushed crude oil prices sharply higher. If energy prices remained elevated, manufacturers may have little choice but to pass costs on to retailers and consumers. The manufacturing recovery is alive, but the inflation threat seems to be back. We'll see what happens. 88 Metals Mania said Fed needs to cut rates. Maybe. Maybe they do. I don't know. If they do, I'm gonna make a lot of money. I put like $5 on both bets if they cut 25 or 50. And again, it is purely 150% a gamble. But if you guys want to gamble too, sign up for Calcio with my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more, and we will both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. Yesterday, out of nowhere, I signed into Calcio and I saw Best Actor Oscar, and it was between Timothée Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan. I was like, Michael B. Jordan's got it. Because Timothée Chalamet, he's a brilliant actor. but he plays the same guy. He's Matthew McConaughey. He plays the same exact character in every single movie. Michael B. Jordan, brilliant actor. Plus, it was like a clean sweep for Sinners, so I haven't actually even watched it, but I made $10 on the bet. If you guys haven't already as well, subscribe. Our fear and greed on CoinMarketCap is at 48. Yesterday it was at 45. We are officially in neutral on CoinMarketCap. On CoinGlass, we are at 27, which is still in fear. Their fear and greed is a little bit different. And then on the stock market, fear and greed is at 23, which is still in extreme fear. Top 10. Cardano got knocked out of number 10 again for Hyperliquid, stealing the show. Dogecoin still in the top 10. Tron somehow still in the top 10. Solana, I swear to God, if Tron flips Solana, I'm going to be pissed. XRP is officially back above BNB. There you go. The universe is correcting a little bit. Tishu said, they might cut. My HYSA went down by 0.10% yesterday. Flight Fan, let me get back to main screen. Okay, Flight Fan said, I'm back and I'm here to once again teach the masses to what's going on. Like I taught all y'all about investing in alts with staking. Now when it comes to the Strait and other countries, I'll explain. Let's see. Okay, U.S. gold reserves have never been this small relative to government debt. Gold reserves now reflect just 3% of U.S. federal debt, one of the lowest readings on record. This comes despite the U.S. holding 8,133.5 metric tons of gold, the largest stockpile in the world, and prices surging to record highs. By comparison, the ratio was around 18% in 1980, or 6 times higher. At the same level of reserves, gold prices would have to rise 400% to $26,000 an ounce to match the 1980s peak. Meanwhile, the 1940s gold reserves backed over 50% of federal debt. To match that 1940s ratio, gold would have to surge 1,340% to $75K an ounce. Gold reserves are highlighting just how astronomical U.S. debt has become. Wow! This is not receiving enough attention. Qatar is the world's second largest helium producer, supplying around 33% of global output at 63 million cubic meters in 2025. When Qatar's Ras Laffan facility, the world's largest LNG export plant, shut down due to the Iran war, helium supply was cut, as helium is extracted as a byproduct of natural gas processing. As a result, the market is now losing 5.2 million cubic meters of helium per month, with almost no spare capacity globally, as helium evaporates during storage and must reach end users within 45 days. The disruption has already doubled helium prices since the Iran war began. If distributions last 60 to 90 days, prices could surge another 25 to 50% potentially, exceeding 2K per house per 1,000 cubic feet, over 4 times early 2026 levels. The Iran war is disrupting far more than oil and gas. Now, I would make a birthday balloon joke here, but helium is actually needed for things other than balloons, so there really is no joke to be made. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says that the U.S. is allowing Iranian oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. There you go. Oil prices fall below $97 a barrel after the U.S. announces it is allowing Iranian oil to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Boom. That's probably why we got the pump today. That was 13 hours ago. Bitcoin $75,646. The White House says President Trump is speaking with European allies and many countries in the region over opening the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices fall to a new low of the day. U.S. oil prices extend losses to drop below $95 a barrel, now down 8% in 12 hours. U.S. rent prices fell 1.5% year over year in February to an average of $1,357, the second lowest since February 2022, and the largest annual decline since the 2020 pandemic. Since the August 2022 peak, the national median rent price has fallen 5.9%, or $85 a month. Despite the pullback, rent prices remain 18% higher than at the start of 2021. This comes as units are now taking an average of 40 days to get leased, plus 4 days longer than a year ago, and more than double the pace seen in mid-2021. Meanwhile, month-over-month prices rose 0.2% last month, the first increase since July. Looking ahead, seasonal patterns suggest rents will continue rising into the summer as moving activity picks up. Rents are falling, but affordability is still nowhere near pre-pandemic levels. Flightman said Donald doesn't want help. He has to ask them so he can get them to say no publicly. Now, when Trump wins the war, he and him alone own the Strait, Venezuelan oil, and now we own the Strait, checkmate. which Israel will run. That'd be crazy. Fuel prices are skyrocketing across the world. Fuel oil prices in Singapore. Oh, yeah, my gas is $4 a gallon now. Flight fan said, just like we owned the opium in Afghanistan for years. $140 a barrel in Singapore, the world's most important refueling port. This marks a 146% surge since the start of the year. Prices have now surpassed the 2008 financial crisis and the 2022 energy crisis peak. The Fujairah are, I can't read, man, a key refueling port in the UAE just outside the Strait of Hormuz. Prices are up $160, with certain fuel types trading as high as $175 per barrel. By comparison, WTI crude is trading at $195, meaning fuel oil carries a 40% to 75% premium over crude. Typically, fuel oil prices track crude with a small premium for refining costs, but that relationship has now completely broken. Elevated fuel oil prices are putting extreme pressures on the global economy. Dang. Flight fan said, just like we own opium, yep, didn't we take the Panama Canal? That, I don't know. I remember that being talked about. I don't know if we took it or not. Major asset classes are moving in completely different directions. The 3-month dispersion across U.S. equities, oil, and the U.S. dollar, bonds, and credit is up to around 18%, the highest since the 2022 bear market. This measures divergence in price of major asset classes, with higher readings signaling the traditional correlations are breaking down. Dispersion has surged around 15 percentage points since March 1st. Over the last 10 years, higher levels of dispersion have only been seen in 2020 and 2022. Current market conditions are extremely unusual. Ask Grok if we took it. I'm just going to Google it. I'm not going to use a Grok credit on that. Did the U.S. I can't type either, man. Did the U.S. take the Panama Canal? Yes, the United States took control of the Panama Canal after backing Panama's independence from Colombia in 1903. The U.S. built the canal. Okay, hold on. Recently. Current status: the canal is now managed and operated by the Panama Canal Authority, the Panamanian agency, though it remains vital to U.S. trade, notes PBS. I thought PBS got shut down. United States relinquished jurisdiction of the Panama Canal on December 31st, 1999, making an unprecedented shift in Panamanian society. For the first time, nearly... Okay, yeah, I don't know. Probably proxy, honestly. Major asset classes are moving completely different directions. We read that. Yep. Current market conditions are extremely unusual. Yeah, it's definitely a weird market, that's for damn sure. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says Germany will not participate in President Trump's initiative to secure the Strait of Hormuz. This is so weird to me, man. I don't understand it. Like, he's not asking for anything except for, like, help with escorts. Is Iran that volatile? Are they just going to bomb everybody that enters? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's so strange. I don't know. Definitely weird. Weird times, man. We got 9 votes in the current poll. We do have a tie. If somebody could break up, I guess it's 2 yeses, so never mind. I'm just going to end the poll. We're going to move on to the next poll. Why would people help? Because they need oil. We don't need any of that oil. The United States is entirely independent of that oil, as far as I'm aware. So our gas prices going up is just a scam. I asked you guys, do you think AI is going to commit crimes by itself in the future? 45% of you guys said yes, but only on accident. 44% of you guys said yes on purpose, and it'll get away. 11% said no, it'll make the laws not break, and then 0% said no, it's perfect, no make mistake. Let's do the next poll. Next poll is going to be, where is Bitcoin heading next? We got straight to 80K. We've got rejection, fake out. We got consolidation here, and we've got IDK. I'm waiting for more news and stuff. No, I'm waiting for more news. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Where's Bitcoin heading next? 80K, rejection, fake out, consolidation here, or I don't know, I'm waiting for more news. Flight fan said, I think we're going to let China be the gold and metals region. They will get Taiwan back, and they will control chip manufacturers with their metals. America will move into the oil export and digital dollar. Yeah, what was really crazy to me was the... Hold on, let me pull it up over here so that I can pull it up on stream without interrupting our bookmark area. One of the first things that I read in this news segment about the U.S. and China kind of cooperating. I think this is the biggest news that nobody's talking about right now, and it's weird to me that nobody's talking about it because it's kind of huge. This is from yesterday. Breaking news. China and the United States are discussing the establishment of a new formal mechanism to help manage trade and investment between the world's two largest economies. That's enormous news, and no one's talking about it. Flight fan said, okay, I said my political knowledge. Times for jokes. Joke away. China discussed farm goods, manage trade in remarkably stable Paris, talks sources, blah, blah, blah. Cool, cool, cool. All right. $75,530.50. Fluff. It might be. German Chancellor. Whoops. Didn't mean to click that. The U.S. Treasury budget deficit jumped 225% month over month in February to $308 billion over the first, not last. Huge difference. Those are the opposite words. Over the first 5 months of fiscal year 2026, U.S. deficit is now at $1 trillion, the third worst start to a year in history. This is only below $1.05 trillion seen in 2021 and $1.15 trillion in 2025. This comes as government receipts rose 11% year over year to a record $2.09 trillion. At the same time, government expenditures increased 2% year over year to $3.1 trillion, also an all-time high for this period. Meanwhile, net interest surged 7% year over year to a record $425 billion. Deficit spending remains out of control. Money is not real, so it don't matter. Bullish bets on the US dollar are skyrocketing. Do you know why people with money invest it? Or most people, like Elon, he's the richest man in modern history, but he is so ridiculously illiquid because liquid cash is worthless. And I like that they call it liquid because liquid evaporates over time. And it kind of makes a ton of sense. The reason wealthy people put their money in assets is because assets are real. Tesla's real. SpaceX is real. You can touch those things. They're making money. They're like profitable businesses. Cash does nothing. Cash actually decreases in value. It's just a piece of paper. It's a piece of trash. The way to build wealth is to either just be taking in constant profits, or as an individual with a 9-to-5, invest. Invest. Your physical goods will increase because the dollar value decreases. That's the easy button that we've talked about. 88. Okay, hold on. Gourmet said, I think the countries are just annoyed with him and not helping in spite because of tariffs, and they think he's a bully. That's actually fair. That's totally fair. Flight fan said they might have to go digital. 88 said, bingo, guy was talking shit to you, then asked for help. LOL, nah. That's actually totally fair. I didn't really think about that. Flight fan said, what's the name of the country that their money went 20? And they were literally just playing with it in the streets. Wasn't that Venezuela? Wasn't that Venezuela? Am I wrong? I think that was Venezuela. Didn't Venezuela's dollar collapse? Yeah, 2019. Yes, the Venezuela Bolivar effectively collapsed due to years of hyperinflation, mismanagement, and economic sanctions, forcing the country into a de facto dollarization. The Bolivar lost almost all its value, resulting in 99.99999 devaluation. So literally, Unfortunately for them, their dollar in Venezuela was actually UST, the Terra Luna stablecoin. Or actually, it was just Luna. They just printed the shit out of it and it went to zero. That's pretty funny. Or is it? It's actually not funny. People lost their money and probably their lives. That's not funny at all. So, thank God Maduro is captured. Also, I believe since then, the Venezuelan stock market has been doing fantastic. So, Tom Selk said, China can take Taiwan once TSMC USA is open. And the factory in Taiwan actually has a button that like destroys all their stuff in China is to invade. So we might end up with that manufacturing. Zimbabwe? I'm sure Zimbabwe collapsed as well. Can you check Ray? Yes, I can. Zimbabwe dollar collapse. Hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. That was 2009, mid 2015. Yeah, if you can't even last half a decade, bro. Zimbabwe's gold-backed currency lost half of its value. Damn. Okay. Is it okay? Let's go check Ray for a moment. Gold Telegraph, we read that. Very cool. Ray's up 6.08% on the day. Okay. 2676. So it pumped and it's consolidating. I would look at this right here. You got your pump consolidation, pump consolidation. Is it going to continue to play out that way? Maybe. It looks very similar to this. Pump consolidation. I'm not going to say that it's going to pump from there, but you never know. This thing might just end up riding this for forever. That's why I do point out this is not a guarantee ever. It's a coincidence that it happened to pump right when I drew this stupid line. And it seems to have played out like that in the past. It's just like stretching out over time. So this actually might take even longer. Maybe it does that. Maybe it does this. You know? I don't know. I have no way of knowing. It might not do that at all. It might literally just go boop and then just be zero. I don't know. But the chart looks good. You got to consolidate. You can never go straight up. Even this didn't go straight up. This went straight up and came straight down. This took its time, and it took its time down, too. Probably going to have the same thing play out if it does go up. Bitcoin, 75,660. Gourmet said, I mean, if you look at the macro, he's trying to get rid of nuclear and make the world safer. They literally have a sign that says death to America, and he's totally against war. He really wants peace. And you can make arguments for all sides. And that's what drives me crazy, too. People come out and they'll be like, I hate this person. And you're like, why? And they're like, because they did all these crazy things. And then if you try to justify it, they're like, no. You know, you can never really change somebody's mind, truly. People that are open to changing their mind, that are like open to having conversation, those are smart people. But a lot of people are just angry. That Pulse player said, do you F with Tau subnets? I don't know anything about it, but I do like Tau. Tau was blowing up the other day. Tau kind of front ran this whole thing, which is maybe another reason why we should be loading up. Yeah, look at that. But what did I say? What did I say? Literally, what did I say? I said this is going to come all the way up above 271. It's going to consolidate in between 271 and 287. And then it's going to make a decision. And it has to be up if we want upside, obviously. But that's what's freaking happening. Look at this. Consolidation broke down. Consolidation broke down. That's crazy. I don't know why the lines I draw do things, but for some reason they do. Definitely adds to the narcissism. All right. Bullish bets on the US dollar are skyrocketing. It's probably retail too. I bet you it's retail. 1 month risk reversals of the Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index are up to 92 basis points, the highest since November 2022. This measures the difference in demand between bullish and bearish dollar options. By comparison, in January, this metric was at minus 90 basis points, marking one of the sharpest turnarounds on record. This means traders are now paying the largest premium for option bets on dollar strength in over 3 years. Surging oil prices, which are fueling rising U.S. inflation expectations, are primarily behind the move. If inflation was going up, wouldn't the dollar value go down? Am I crazy? Meanwhile, the Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index is trading at the highest level in 3 months. The U.S. dollar is seeing strong demand for the first time in months. I don't understand that. If we have a problem with inflation, wouldn't the DXY drop? Because you get less for your money. 88 Metal said, Trump the kind of guy that would kick your dog and ask to take it for a walk the next day. 100% retail, LOL. Then prediction markets sure open the doors to folks to guess too, right? Yeah, the prediction markets, I think, might replace everything. They're like, we might just have Wall Street and then retail just on prediction markets being like, what's Wall Street going to do? Breaking. U.S. tariff revenue fell 4% month over month in February to $27 billion. This marks the 4th consecutive monthly decline. Watch them just accumulate what, like, you know, it's going to be really funny. They have what they owe. This is what they owe. What they owe. And then this is what they're going to make. What if what they make ends up being the exact same amount that they owe, and then their deadline is up? So this just ends up being one gigantic net positive. And the only way that you actually profited off of tariffs is if you traded it. That would be so freaking funny. I do personally, I like tariffs. And everyone's like, oh, it's like a tax on the people. No shit. About that 1,000 times. If I don't have to pay income tax, and I just have to pay more when I import a freaking Porsche from whatever foreign country, then sure. But I've checked, and majority of the things that I spend money on are from America. So I pay 0 tax, if you want to call it that. And that sounds amazing to me. If the tariff truly is a tax on the people, which it is, technically speaking, then it's a tax on the people who are importing stuff from foreign countries. So it's a net positive for the country, especially if they get rid of income taxes for it. People talk about taxing the rich. The rich people are the ones that pay a shit ton of money to import stuff from foreign countries. So, 88 Metals Mania said tariffs are okay if they're implemented correctly. I mean, I've seen no issue. What if I said cutting out? Me? That's entirely possible. My internet has been trash lately. Maybe refresh on your end though. This marks a plus 276% increase compared to the prior 12-month, 83 billion. So far, in fiscal year 2026, which began on October 1st, the government has collected $144 billion in tariff revenue. The U.S. is collecting more in tariffs than at any point in modern history. Maybe assembled in USA, not made. So most of the money that I spend on is on food, and the food that I buy is made in the USA. We're not out like buying miscellaneous things. And if I got to pay 15% more for my PlayStation 4 or for my freaking, my NVDA chip, then that's totally fine. I'm more than happy to do that. Wait till they have to give it all back. What's funny is that money's never coming to us. We will never see that money, but we're allegedly the ones that had paid for it, so it's all one big scam, dude. Once it gets confusing, I just call it a scam. All right. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission preparing a proposal to eliminate. We've reported on this like 5 times already. The real-time inflation calculated by Truflation, based on real transaction prices, dropped significantly below the Fed's 2% target in January and February before bouncing back slightly in March. Truflation U.S. CPI today is 1.54% year over year. Truflation core U.S. CPI today is 1.33% year over year. The core CPI, which excludes volatile food and energy, is now lower than the headline at 1.33 and may still be in a downtrend, suggesting that the latest upward gains are likely temporary and driven by the oil price and shipping costs related to the conflict in the Middle East. Does Guam count? For what? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Tomorrow, the Fed starts its FOMC meeting with the final interest rate decision on Wednesday, March 18th. The markets expect interest rates to remain unchanged in the 3.5 to 3.75% range for this and the next FOMC meeting. The latest CPI, PCE, and labor data show little change and some stagnation, supporting the Fed's favorite wait-and-see approach. I don't know where I got the word "we" from. And a pause on cuts. This upcoming FOMC meeting will be interesting, mainly for gauging the Fed's 2026 outlook. And although there might still be some change with Jerome Powell stepping down as Fed chair in May. That was a word salad, for sure. Cointelegraph posted $867 billion. Bernstein says Bitcoin outperformed gold and equities during last week's Middle East tensions. Bitcoin is building the most resilient capital base. Boom. 88 said, guess it's like gas prices. If you don't drive a lot, you don't play as big a factor. Right. But I mean, like, what? So what are you guys spending money on that would be tariffed? I'm genuinely curious. Because if you're talking about, like, video game consoles, you don't buy those every day. If you're talking computer parts, you don't buy those every day. What else is foreign? Lumber, you don't buy that every day. Tires, you don't buy those every day. It's all like long-term goods. Cars, if you're buying foreign, then, you got to pay a little bit extra. What else is imported? Junk at Walmart? It's already really, really cheap. You're going from a 50-cent plate to a 75% plate? Big whoop. Everything transported, so it has to go up to... Oh, for oil, yes. For oil, 100%. I'm talking tariffs. Big digital asset investment products saw 1.06 billion in inflows for the third straight week. That's pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. 302,500,000 shorts liquidated in 24 hours. That was 14 hours ago. Pretty epic as well. Australia's Senate Bank's license framework for crypto exchanges and custodians. Also epic. I do like they have a kangaroo and what is it, like an emu, and their little logo right there. That's pretty epic. History. Solana's first block was produced 6 years ago on March 16th, 2020. Happy birthday, Solana. Cheers to gambling. Oh my gosh, what the hell was that? I think I have a plug situation. Damn. That sucks. Did you guys hear that? I hope my light's okay. Hopefully the other one doesn't go out. Son of a bitch. Alright. Strategy bought 22,337 Bitcoin worth $1.6 billion. The company now holds 761,068 Bitcoin. That's pretty epic as well. Most Bitcoin analysts are strongly bullish according to CryptoQuaint. Very cool. BlackRock bought 8,700 Bitcoin last week, marking inflows every day for the first time since October. Research the biggest crypto collapses reveal a key pattern. Exchange failures can look similar at the moment of collapse, but recovery outcome can diverge dramatically. Data from Cointelegraph Research with Trezor shows custody structures, operational failures, and legal processes shape how much users ultimately recover after failure. Yeah, I'm pretty. FTX people were all made whole. They actually got more, 118%. 88 said, I think food and clothing would be the biggest tariff price goes up to most people. Maybe. Elon Musk's XAI is hiring Wall Street bankers and traders to train Grok financial modeling amid layoffs and leadership changes at the company. The Fed should... Okay, Trump said the Fed should hold a special meeting and cut rates now. It's the perfect time to cut rates. Even a third grader would know that. Update. The crypto tax roundtable postponed last month due to snow has been rescheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern time today. Bitcoin's going down 75, 185. Coffee, fruit, etc. That's fair. All right, I'm gonna fix this damn light thing really quick. I don't know what that was specifically. I'm hoping. I actually don't know what I'm hoping. I don't know what the hell that was. I just don't know what it was. Okay, back in business. Bam. Let me see. Was it the whole plug? Did you guys hear that on stream? It was like a really loud pop noise. Oh, I think it was the plug. I think I blew a fuse in the plug. What? Dang it. Well, that's what happens when you have ghetto extension cords. Make sure the blinds are drawn. That's so upsetting. The cabin light went out. Yes. Yes. I'm actually in the Strait of Hormuz. That was a stray bullet. Okay. $75,218.22 on Bitcoin. Let's continue. Cointelegraph, the crypto tax roundtable. Yep, we read that. That's exciting. Rescheduled. Or no, I'm sorry. Didn't it get... I think it got rescheduled today as well. Yeah, rescheduled for 4 p.m. today. I think they rescheduled it again. Donald Trump says oil prices falling would rapidly bring down inflation once the current situation is resolved. Tether has revealed over $1.6 billion in investments across sectors like media, fintech, sports, gold, and biotech over the past year. Major bets include $785 million in Rumble, $250 million in Elemental Royalty. What the hell is that? $150 million in Juventus, $150 million in Goldcom, and $100 million in Anchorage Digital. OpenAI is reportedly in talks with TPG, Bain Capital, Brookfield Asset Management, and Advent International to launch an enterprise AI joint venture per Reuters. It's also Epic. Bitcoin is digital capital, and in the AI era, Bitcoin stands to benefit the most, says Michael Saylor. I actually kind of agree with him to an extent. So we've been talking about this. They're just now, someone, I don't remember, I think it's Anthony Pompliano, one of those guys, has just started talking about AI kind of getting put on the back burner because of, or no, I'm not AI, crypto mining, right here. Getting put on the back burner because of AI. Who is it? Is it Papiano? Oh no, it's Ryan Nooner. AI has killed Bitcoin forever. It became Bitcoin mining's biggest competitor, not another crypto, AI, because both industries compete for the same thing, electricity. So here's the thing. All this CapEx spending is basically going to be put towards infrastructure. They need buildings and they need electricity. What does Bitcoin mining have? Buildings and electricity. A lot of electricity. So it's really easy for somebody with this much money available to them to go to a Bitcoin miner and be like, I'll write you a big fat check and buy this entire facility from you. You can take your miners even. Get them out of here. I just want the facility and the access to the electricity. And the Bitcoin miner, who's currently not profitable, mind you, goes, write the check, let's do it. Shakes the guy's hand. Suddenly, Bitcoin mining is a lot easier because a big, gigantic mining facility just went offline. That's going to happen more and more. They're already doing that, Mara Hut 8. Exactly. It's a lot easier to just start. And we've been talking about this for a while. And now suddenly everybody else is on board. They're like, oh my gosh. Where the heck did it go? I don't know. Follow me on X. Is what I'm getting at, I guess. Latest Bitmine reports 11.5 billion in holdings, including 4.6 million ETH, 196 Bitcoin, a 200 million stake in Beast Industries, and 1.2 billion in cash. I'm gonna keep buying Bitmine. I'm gonna actually buy some today. I'm gonna buy some right now, as we speak. Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I'm done streaming. Alibaba tested 18 AI coding agents for 233 days. 75% broke previously working code during maintenance. Those ones should probably not be used. I'm not gonna lie. 88 Metals said Hut 8 has signed a 15-year, $7 billion data center lease agreement with FluidStack and anchored tenant Anthropic to develop a 245 megawatt AI infrastructure project in Louisiana. With Google providing a financial backstop guarantee for the deal, the project, which can scale up to 2.3 gigawatts. That's pretty crazy. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says AI computing demand could exceed $1 trillion by 2027, with NVIDIA targeting at least $1 trillion in revenue. That's pretty crazy. $40 billion in software and service debt matures in 2028, the largest single-year pile, mostly rated B- or lower. 2028, guys. That might be the new 2008. Might be a little 20-year gap in between financial crises. NVIDIA announced a partnership with Uber to deploy robotaxi-ready vehicles across multiple cities through Uber's network. NVIDIA launched NemoClaw at GTC 2026, an enterprise AI agent framework with built-in policy, privacy, and security controls. NemoClaw. Very cute. You know what would be really cool? What would be the coolest way to like debut something like this? Imagine I was telling you guys a story, and I was talking into a mic, but I had like a lapel mic as well, talking into the mic, and I'm like, we developed all of this, this and that, and this and that, and this, and then I press a button, and then all of a sudden this graphic appears behind me showing all this cool stuff, and I said, by the way, this was not prepared before this event. I literally, this microphone is mic'd up to NemoClaw or whatever, and it created this image based on the things that I just said to you. How sick would that be? That would be the most badass presentation ever. I want to see somebody to do that. Because normally you got to be like, okay, now fix these things because half these words are misspelled or something dumb. That would be badass. 88 said Mara has partnered with Starwood Digital Ventures to convert and expand its power sites into AI and enterprise data centers. The joint venture aims to develop roughly 1 gigawatt of IT capacity near term, with a long-term goal exceeding 2.5 gigawatts. AI getting rid of big miners. Hash rate be okay. Would be pretty sick, actually. Actually, yeah, that would make solo miners way more profitable, or the odds of solo miners actually hitting a Bitcoin win. It would technically make Bitcoin more decentralized. Problem is, if all these big miners go offline and I am a solo miner contributing to a big network just so that I can get paid like a little bit amount, then I would have to become a solo miner at that point if all the available big mining pools are suddenly offline. So it's a double-edged sword. Cointelegraph said severe storms and flight disruptions have forced the crypto tax roundtable to be postponed again. We talked about this every time, man. Every time. Where are the billionaires? Most of them are in the United States and China. There's some of them in other countries. Nobody's in Africa. Or is that Greenland? I think that's Greenland. It might be Iceland. I don't remember. Yeah. Pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. I think I would go to Alaska. If I'm a billionaire, I'm going to Alaska. 88 said, well, lose too much hash rate and security goes down? No. I don't think so. I think the security thing is that there's a bunch of miners. I think that's the security feature, is that the network is huge. So I guess it depends on how many miners are big facilities versus solo miners. It would technically just become more decentralized. Now, if solo miners stop mining as well, then that's going to be a big crutch. But I don't think that's ever going to get to a point. It's just going to become easier to mine Bitcoin. Mark Chadwick posted, when you realize that crypto is now pumping on good news, bad news, or no news, and that the shakeout is over, the breakout is about to begin. Very cool. This is absolutely insane. The global equities market, worth $127 trillion, is about to be tokenized. We're about to witness the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind, and most people don't even realize it's happening. Markets are moving toward 24/7 infrastructure, and it won't just be equities. Other asset classes will have to move alongside them. Does that mean crypto suddenly becomes a $127 trillion market? Probably, but it won't be your crypto. It's going to be their crypto. Of course not, but it opens the floodgates for a massive source of institutional capital, and that previously had no direct access to this asset class. Many projects won't benefit. Many will die. Some become the multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure that runs the global financial system of the future. I think none of them will. Millionaires will be made overnight, with 99.9% of the population won't even realize it happened. They'll tell you got lucky. MSB said Uber partnership. NVIDIA gets a cut of every robotaxi mile. This isn't hardware revenue. This is recurring software revenue at scale. The business model just changed. Yes, it did. NVIDIA definitely knows what they're doing. Jensen Huang just bought out a physical AI army on stage right now in GTC 2026. Cars, Mercedes-Benz, BYD, Hyundai, Nissan, Robotics, ARB, Fanuk, KUKA, AGI Bot, Ride Hailing, Uber, major new partnership. NVIDIA isn't just powering the cars. They're powering the robots that build the cars. They are now powering the network that dispatches the cars. Chips, factory, robots, vehicles, fleet software, one company, every layer. I think NVIDIA is going to replace Microsoft. I do. At this rate, I think NVIDIA is going to replace Microsoft. Breaking, NVIDIA just launched NemoClaw at GTC 2026. Enterprise-grade AI agents with OpenShell deploy in 2 commands. Policy engine connecting every software as a service company. Network guardrails, privacy router, transition, AI agents that your compliance team can't say no to. This is how OpenClaw goes from dev toy to Fortune 500 infrastructure. That's pretty crazy. Strategy has acquired 22,337 Bitcoin for $1.57 billion at 70,194 per Bitcoin. As of 3/15/2026, we hold 761,068 Bitcoin, acquired for $57.61 billion at $75,696 per Bitcoin. That's pretty epic. Markets. XRP reclaims $90 billion market cap and surges 8% in 7 days as momentum returns. Chamath, whatever his freaking name is, Bitcoin would need to be quantum resistant by then. Michael Saylor said, your AI thesis assumes the digital world is quantum resistant. If quantum breaks cryptography, it breaks AI, cloud infrastructure, banks, and the internet, not just Bitcoin. The entire stack upgrades together. No store value has been 100% hacking resistant. So I agree actually with Saylor here, because if Bitcoin gets hacked, before that happens, they're going to take all the money out of the banks. You know, like quantum computing is going to just decimate. It's going to level Web 2 before it even touches Web 3. So I think that's a bigger concern. Obviously, everyone's talking about that for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's going to be ahead of the curve, but 88 said lowering the Bitcoin hash rate theoretically reduces network security by making it cheaper and easier for malicious actors to attempt a 51% attack. NVIDIA, sure a big outfit, eh? Man, these companies are so innovative, but do they execute anything close to what they say? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, you got to talk the talk, man. That movie that I just watched, Gold, is an excellent lesson in all of that. Talk the talk. You got to talk the talk and walk the walk. We got 8 votes on the current poll. Sailor Raul Paul sent a massive warning. Bitcoin is about to go parabolic. It should be $140,000 right now. Global M2 is surging. The dollar is weakening. Liquidity is expanding. Bitcoin is waiting for a catalyst. Billionaire Jack Dorsey says we don't need banks anymore because we have Bitcoin. I agree. Merlin the Trader said the altcoin market cap just printed a bullish MACD crossover. Last time this happened, April 2025. Whoops. Altcoins rallied 70% from the exact signal. Same descending wedge, same crossover, same support level. Hold 170 billion. Alt season begins. Lose it. Wedge breaks lower first. The signal fired once before. It just fired again. Let's freaking go. The most important chart in crypto right now. Most people are watching Bitcoin at 74K. They're watching the wrong thing. Here's what actually matters. The altcoins versus Bitcoin ratio just hit a 1100-day downtrend reset. The ETH versus Bitcoin ratio just hit an 1100-day downtrend reset, both happening at the same time. This exact setup happened once before in 2020. What happened after 2020? ETH went from 300 to 4,800. Sol went from $2 to $260. Link went from $4 to $50. Dot, Avalanche, Matic up 20 to 100x in months. The altcoin market cap went from 200 billion to over 1 trillion. Wow. Right now, Bitcoin dominance sits at 58.7. I think it's higher now. 59.2. Altcoin season index is 35 out of 100. Everyone says alt season is dead. This is exactly what it looked like before it wasn't. One level to watch, resistance on the total alts versus Bitcoin chart. Break above equals confirmed, stay below equals wait. But the clock is ticking. 1100 days of pain could end right here. Bar chart posted Lululemon has now traded red for 11 consecutive days, its longest losing streak in history. Number go down. Then we got Confessions. Deep down, I know there's hope. I have lost it all. Lost 60K for my life savings in future trading. Now can't pay for my kids' school fees. I feel like a failure for gambling away my kids' future. My partner keeps asking me what the reason for the late payment. I keep saying that I'm expecting a return from the investment I made very soon, but deep down, I know there's no hope. All funds have been liquidated. Guys, this is what we mean when we say do not invest more than you can afford to lose. If you got money put away for your kids, that is not investment money. You do not touch that. There's a wall there. You cannot go through that wall. If you got $5 for coffee, you cannot get that coffee, and you can put that in an investment fund or do whatever the hell you want with it. Do not touch your kids' college money or school money, whatever you got to do. Don't touch money that you're not supposed to touch. I know it seems tantalizing. Like, ooh, what if I doubled my rent money? But it's your rent money. You're going to be homeless if you don't. It's not a gamble you should take. I've been in crypto since 2015, and it doesn't get any easier. Here we got, again, MasterCard, the future of crypto in one tap. MasterCard just out here shilling crypto on X. BSCN, more T. Rowe Price seeks to expand Wall Street's altcoin portfolio. All season incoming. The $1.8 trillion asset managers amendment number 2 lists 14 eligible assets. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, XRP, ADA, Avalanche, Litecoin, Polkadot, Doge, HBAR, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, Stellar, and SHIB. The fund will actively hold 5 to 15 of those assets at any time, weighed by fundamentals, valuation, and momentum rather than market cap. It aims to outperform the FTSE Crypto US listed index on the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, under ticker TKNZ. One of Wall Street's most established names is no longer watching from the sidelines. This is freaking huge, and I'm excited. I told you guys, they're going to come all at once, and everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, what happened? All this money came out of nowhere. Yeah, yes, it did. 88 said, dollar's weakening. Most people would just toss in SP or a NAS. And last but not least, we got Bitcoin Sapiens posting bullish. Bank of America ranks Bitcoin with the printing press, steam engine, light bulb, and internet as a once-in-a-millennium technology. Pretty epic. Satoshi, absolute legend. Giga Chad. Bitcoin, $75,173.60. I suppose I should call it an evening. Just under 2-hour mark. I gotta figure out what the hell just happened to this plug. So, hopefully we got to do an emergency pump stream. But as always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Let's end our poll. 44% of you guys said straight to 80K. 33% said rejection fake out. 11% said consolidation here. And 11% said, I don't know, I'm waiting for more news. We got 9 votes. Where's Bitcoin heading next? Survey says straight to 80K. Anyways, guys, as always, when the market starts to pump or do anything at all, really, I will hop back on. Hopefully pump. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Monday and good night.